Mark, what's up? Jerry, what's up? See how many we get tonight. New Year's Day. New decade. New world. I posted a prepping video. An epic economist, I think. Yesterday, I believe. Anyway, it's just scroll back. It should be both on my page and the Watchman page. Everybody should take a look at that video. It's perfect. The timing is perfect for this thing because it fills in, our basic list, and this has got like 50 items that a lot of people forget. So it's perfect timing. So definitely check it out, guys. Travis, Rita, how you guys doing? Kevin, Michael, David. Give it a few more seconds. We'll get started. Lisa, how you doing? James. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and get this started. I think I'm gonna start doing a kind of a standardized intro because we're getting so many new members. I just think it helps understand who we are and what we're doing here. So for you, if you guys have been around for a while, you know, when you watch a replay, you can probably cut out the first couple of minutes because you get tired of hearing the same thing over and over again. It's what I do when I watch anybody else's work. Anyway, so this is the Watchman page. I think all the old members I know understand what a Watchman is, and I hope most of the new ones do, especially if you're a Christian. Although I'm surprised how often when I talk to people who are Christians, they don't have a clue really what a Watchman is. So I don't know. Anyway, I was called by God in 2014 to do this work. God showed me the first ever worldwide economic collapse. We're right at the beginning of right now. It's going down. Showed me the draining of the worldwide swamp, and he showed me the exposure of the worldwide satanic pedophile ring. Also, on top of that, showed me physical silver, showed me Litecoin, showed me carbon 60, a few other things, but those are the main things. And basically, what my job is to warn and prepare as many people as possible before this all blows up. When I started this, and the other thing, a lot of channels who offer this kind of information are charging subscription fees or fees if they help you. I am not selling anything. I don't monetize the videos. I don't accept donations. The only thing I ask is that if you benefit from anything you learn here, that you pay it forward. You know, we're paying it forward now by reaching out to others and trying to help them get ready. We're going to pay it forward through this rough patch we're going to go through, the swamp draining, the economic collapse, the cognitive dissonance from the satanic pedophiles being exposed. We'll help with, extra food and water, friends, relatives. And then through the recovery phase, we'll help with our profits from our silver and Litecoin. I think it's important to stress this because we had a troll today, and obviously this guy, had the blinders on. Because his beef was, what he said was that we're trying to profit off the satanic pedophilia and these kids' pain. And it makes absolutely no sense, because that's not what this is about. We're going to make a profit because the economy is going to collapse. And God showed me what to tell you guys about so that you could be ready for it. The guy obviously never looked at our site to see who we are and what we really do. But the ignorance, and I even mentioned this last night, where people just want to be negative. And I have set this thing up so because I knew people like this were going to come out, and I wasn't going to give them an inch any way that they could say what we're doing has got some kind of ulterior motive. I've been awake since 1967. I was 12 years old. I knew that things weren't right. I didn't know how bad they were, but I knew. God called me to do this work 5 years ago. Since then, I say 16 hours a day. My wife would say more like 20, because every waking moment I'm on the computer. Every day, 7 days a week. All day today, all day yesterday, all day for the last however, since the stroke. That's the other thing. I had a hemorrhagic stroke because of the satanic pedophilia, internalizing that knowledge of what these monsters are doing to the kids. So I want to ask this guy, where exactly do you see me benefiting from this? And I am the first to admit, it's the hardest thing I've ever done, but it's also the most rewarding thing I've ever done. So there is some benefit to me, but it's not what these people think. I don't feel like I have to defend myself. I'm just mentioning it because I want everybody to understand. I don't want anything for this. All I want to do is help as many people as I can. That's the bottom line. End of story. So what we ask of the new people, or everyone, is to do what you can do. For some people, that's going to be just posting articles and videos to your friends and relatives, maybe commenting. For others, it's going to be, mixing it up on social media and confronting the people that are misleading our fellow Americans, because it's rampant. It's obviously a huge problem with the mainstream media. It's funny how they want to call, people like Greg Hunter or SGT Report or fake news, and these guys. Let's go through and analyze what you're seeing on the internet. Let's take the five biggest providers, content providers on YouTube, and then the network news, and let's compare who's really fake news. Because what you're going to find out is on YouTube, you're going to have a much higher, 4 times less errors on, and with the problem with mainstream media, they're not errors, they're lies. They're just blatant lies. That's all they have anymore. So anyway, everybody should find their own niche. You all are going to want to reach out to your friends, your relatives, your neighbors. I don't see how a patriot or a Christian can hear what we have to say and not want to tell everyone they care about. So, and I think as people get into this, and obviously all of the long-term members understand and are doing an amazing job out there, we don't have much time left. So we have to use every day that we get. Every day is a blessing. I know we are all ready for this to be over, but every day we get, we are, and it's amazing what's happening, guys. Every day I am talking to new members who are buying silver and Litecoin. Had one from Ohio that bought last night, both silver and Litecoin. And every day there's 2 or 3 of them, at least. So every day that's 2 or 3 more families at least that we're getting prepared for this. It's life-changing, guys, what we're doing. This is, you'll never have another opportunity in your lifetimes. In history, there won't be another opportunity like this to impact the people that you care about, to have a positive impact on their lives. There is so much going on that they need to be ready for. It's mind-boggling. And that's where the cognitive dissonance comes in. And that's why it's so important to reach out to these people now instead of after the fact. Because after the fact is when they get hit with a cognitive dissonance. Because once this thing goes, it's all going to be on the news worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This combination, and it's all connected. The worldwide economic collapse, the draining of the swamp, the worldwide pedophilia ring, it's all connected. The same people are involved. You know, the pedophiles are involved. The Vatican, the royal family, Washington, former presidents. Just think about that. And think about what that alone would do to the economy. That's why these people that are saying, you know, it's going to go, it'll go till the 2020 election. It's not going to go to the 2020 election. Because what these idiots don't understand is that it's not the president. He's not the only factor in this. The deep state is the bigger factor. They will never let this economy go to the 2020 election. They will, if President Trump doesn't pull the trigger first, or it doesn't happen organically, naturally, they will collapse the economy in August of 2020, right before the election. So they dump it all on him. That's their only chance now. We got to understand these things. And the other thing is, the economy, if he takes the swamp down and exposes the pedophiles, the economy can't survive that either. And because most of these people, they own the banks, they own Chase, they own the Fed, they own all the central banks in the world. Um, so they've got actually more control over the economy than President Trump does. The deep state could shut. I mean, so could President Trump. It's that weak where there's 50 triggers that could set this thing off. So there's absolutely no way we're getting to 2020. I don't think we get to summertime. I don't think we get to summertime before the economy goes and the swamp goes. And then the pedophilia, that's going to be, you know, and I have to say, they're doing a great job of rolling this out slowly because I'm seeing a lot more stuff coming from even some of the fringe mainstream. So it's all good signs, guys, that this is going to happen quicker rather than later, which is even more reason not to procrastinate. You don't want to miss out on this. This is the greatest financial opportunity in history. It's going to be the greatest transfer of wealth in history, and this is biblical. God says you will have sevenfold returned to you what's been taken. Trillions of dollars have been stolen from our country and us. Trillions. Returned sevenfold. That's coming back mostly into our hands. That's why God wants you to have the message. He wants his people to be in control of this new world. And look what's happened when the evil has had the monetary control, had the wealth, had the power. Look what they've done with it. 800,000 kids a year go missing in America alone. Think about that. That's not an exaggeration. That's a fact. 800,000 children a year in America alone go missing. And you can trace a good portion of them back to the CIA and the FBI. CIA abducting them, FBI covering it up. These are facts, guys. This is the reality. This is what's going to be coming out. Epstein ran a honeypot for the CIA and Mossad. A honeypot is where they lure powerful people in to compromise them, get them on video, and then blackmail them. They've been doing it since the Second World War or before. They really got it rolling after the Second World War. Epstein had Pedo Island, a mansion in Florida, a mansion in New York, and a ranch in New Mexico. They were all wired. There's hundreds of hours of video on thousands of government officials, politicians, newscasters, CEOs, judges, celebrities, movie stars. This is all going to be exposed, and when it does, it changes the world forever. Every war in the last 300 years, every terrorist attack, every school shooting, you can trace back to these people and their globalist agenda. This has all been about control, divide and conquer. Do you think a little bit odd that, I mean, when I was growing up, we had gays and straights. Now, what they got? 30 different categories? It's all about divide and conquer. Look at it. Read the rules for radicals. Saul Alinsky. Hillary Clinton's, she idolized that guy. I think she did her thesis on Saul Alinsky. Look it up. Look at their playbook. There's a sheet. They've got like 20 items that you need to do to overthrow a government. And every single one of them you could check off in Obama's administration. It's not an accident, guys. This is the greatest evil the world has ever known. These people torture and murder children in satanic rituals. They drain their blood for the adrenochrome because and adrenochrome levels get elevated. That's why they torture them, because it elevates the adrenochrome levels, and then they drink it and they think that it gives them a high and makes them live longer. And something's making them live longer. Anyway, for us, for the people that are prepared, will thrive through this. I don't think this is going to go worst case scenario. There are some things that are coming up maybe in the next couple of years that there might be some issues with, but for right now, for sure for the next year, this is what we have to deal with. You got to have your prepping done. Food, water, medical supplies, ammo, physical silver, Litecoin. Go to this other video, watch it, make it a more expanded list. You got to have your Litecoin and silver. It's insurance for what you're going to lose. Because when this economy goes, they're eventually going to have to declare a reset. Everything's going to get wiped out. And there's good and bad with that. You know, anything you hold, your car, your house, if you're making payments on it, you're going to own it free and clear. But you're going to lose your bank account. You're going to lose your pension fund, annuities, 401ks, stocks, bonds are all going. All paper assets will go to zero. When you get your Litecoin and silver, you're going to return multiples of what you lost. If you could just invest $500, $25 in Litecoin, if you bought it today, it's still around 41. There are analysts that believe by the year 2024, so in 4 years, Litecoin is going to be 3 million a piece. I think that number's conservative. There are only 84 million Litecoin in the world. About 65 million of them have already been sold. Think about that. There's 7.5 billion people in the world. What do you think is going to happen when the economy collapses, the stock market drops 50 points, maybe the banks close? Silver, precious metals, and cryptocurrencies are going to go through the roof. Gold, silver, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. God showed me physical silver. Physical silver is going to outperform gold at least 8 times. Litecoins is multiples going to outperform Bitcoin. Right now, Bitcoin is about $7,100. $7,100 for one. A Litecoin is $41. Bitcoin, they think, is 12 million by 2024. Litecoin, 3 million. Do the math. You don't want to buy Bitcoin. You don't want to buy gold. Physical silver, Litecoin. There's a reason God showed me these things. Take advantage. This is a gift from God. To be able to buy both physical silver and Litecoin at these prices this late in the game is a godsend. You maybe don't understand it now, but in a year, you're going to understand exactly what I'm talking about. This is life-changing money. $40 will get you $3 million in 4 years. They're saying that the target just for next year for Bitcoin is 300,000. And Litecoin is going to be worth about a quarter of that. So something you pay $41 for today could be worth $75,000 next year, or at the end of this year, within this year, the next 12 months. Keep forgetting it's the first. So don't miss the boat, guys, and don't. I know that, especially for new people, this is hard. It's hard stuff to do because even today, people are going to call you a conspiracy theorist. They're going to call you crazy, right-wing nut, tinfoil hat, blah, 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 blah. Ignore it. There's a lot of ignorance out there. Trust me, in 6 months, the people that you might piss off today are going to come back and thank you profusely, even if they don't take advantage, because they're going to understand what you were trying to do for them and sticking your neck out. So don't, now's the time to be bold. Don't be intimidated by this. This, if you were ever going to take a chance in sticking your neck out in the history of mankind, this is the time to do it. We're heading into man's greatest age. This next 10 years, more is going to be accomplished than in the whole history of mankind. In the next 10 years, cures for cancer, 0-point energy, cars that run on water, cures for virtually every ailment mankind knows. This has all been repressed because of, there's no money in treatment. I mean, in the curing cancer. The money's in the treatment. When you find out all of the things these people have done as a way to take our money from us, George Bush Sr. was correct. He said 15 or 20 years ago, if these people ever find out what we've been doing, they'll chase us down in the street and hang us. And he's right. These people, when this all comes out, they're going to want to be in jail. Because if they were out in the streets, when you look at what people are going to lose financially and what they've been doing to our kids and how they've been stealing us blind, they couldn't walk the streets. When this goes, they're already expecting massive civil unrest. I think when they start, either when they declare a reset or when they start the takedown of the swamp, where they're going to arrest people like Clinton and Obama, they're going to have to declare martial law. Don't panic. I had someone that I think was a little bit worried about troops being close to them. In this martial law, you want troops close to you. The safest place to be is going to be around the troops. I'm worried for the liberal strongholds, the people that live there. San Francisco, LA, Chicago, New York. They're going to have it the toughest because they're basically under democratic globalist mayors and governors. And they don't really give a rat's ass about what happens to us. They just as soon see all. I mean, look at Agenda 21. They've got to eliminate 7 billion people in 80 years. Go to the UN website, pull up Agenda 21. It's on the UN website. Go to the end of the treaty that Bush Sr. signed, I think in 91 or 92. Bottom line, they want the world's population at 500 million, half a billion, by 2100. That's 80 years. They want to lose 7 billion people when the life expectancy is going up every year. How does that work? It works. They planned on getting rid of a lot of us, and so they could care less. They're hoping for massive casualties in something like this. Thank God for President Trump, because he's been 10 steps ahead from day one. He's been flawless in how he's handled this whole thing. And that's why I don't think it's going to go anywhere near worst case scenario. If he can keep food in the grocery stores and the power on, we will get through this fine. If you're not prepared, your kids may go hungry for a couple of days. I don't think anybody's going to starve, but you're probably going to go without because there probably will be shortages. But it's better than the other scenario where the banks close, the power's off, the grocery stores are empty. That's worst case. That's where there's going to be rioting and looting. There's 3 days average worth of food in every home. 3-day average worth of food in the grocery stores. In a week with no food being delivered, people are looting. You got kids that are hungry, you're going to try and feed them any way you can. And that's where this thing gets dangerous. And I don't think it's going to come to that, but we have to be prepared for that. That's why you want the extra food, water, medical supplies, and ammo. You have to be able to defend yourself and your families. And it's going to be worse in liberal areas. I think in the more rural, conservative areas, people are going to get through this fine. They're going to pull together and they're going to get through it. Most of them, in the rural areas, they grow their own gardens. Many of them raise their own livestock. They're going to get through this fine. It's the ones that are in the cities that are going to have the biggest problem. So you definitely want to make sure you're stocked up. And then you have to remember the cognitive dissonance. The worst case scenario is being overwhelmed by all this information about what's been going down in the satanic pedophilia, and then have to go out to find food for your family. That's worst case. It's dangerous. Cognitive dissonance is something you don't want to be going through in that scenario. That's the other reason waking people up now is so important. It's better for them to get hit hard now when things are relatively calm, as opposed to in the middle of this thing, in the middle of the storm. Okay, God, Jesus. Let's see. One third of all 18 to 34-year-olds still live with their parents. 33%. It's crazy. Illinois, again, this year, lost population for the 6th year in a row. What a surprise. You think they don't care, I guess. The Democratic politicians, they don't care. It's all about globalism. One world order, one world government, one world religion. Not going to happen, guys. It's over. They were this close, and God and President Trump surprised them. There's been a lot of people in a panic about, two things. One is Virginia. Don't worry about Virginia. They're not going to go door to door and take guns. President Trump's on top of this. This is all, they're trying to start a civil war. Don't play into it. It's all hype. The National Guard's already told them they're not going to take guns. The police in Virginia have already told them they're not going to take guns. President Trump isn't going to allow them to go take guns. They're not going to take guns, guys. This is all about getting us all riled up and hoping that some right-winger is going to jump the gun and shoot somebody. And then it blows up. Don't play into this, guys. It's really lame distraction. It's the same thing with the impeachment. It's the most lame thing I've ever seen. It's embarrassing. Both articles of impeachment that they wrote, they're not crimes. You can't make this stuff up. That's why they have to go back and dig something up on Pence, or out of the Pence office. He's in on this too. Pence is going down with the swamp, by the way. Because they know they can't send it to the Senate, because they could dismiss it immediately. I think they're about ready to get the Supreme Court to jump in on this, because this is criminal, what they're doing. There are zero crimes here. Zero evidence that there's any crimes. They produce zero evidence at these hearings that there was ever a crime committed. And they're trying to talk about quid pro quo. If President Trump said, I'm not going to give them a dime till they prove that there's no corruption there, he would have been 100% in his rights to do it. We have a treaty with the Ukraine that requires that gets done before we send them a check that Bill Clinton signed. You can't make it up. But they still push forward with the garbage, and the only reason it's allowed to continue is because the deep state mockingbird mainstream media is covering for them and lying through their teeth. And that's why I believe that some of them are going to be executed for treason. I think some of them are going to be executed. Don Lemon, Cuomo, Tapper, all went to Pedo Island. You can bet there's video on these guys. There's video on them. They're going to be executed for murder. They're also going to have treason charges, I think, for most of them, too. Because you're conspiring. When you're telling these lies, knowingly for money, you're conspiring to remove a duly elected president of the United States. That's treason. They're not getting off. Every single person guilty of treason or murder will be executed. That's how they're going to eradicate this evil from the world. They're not going to let one of them walk free. Not one of them will ever see the light of day again. And there are thousands. 140,000 sealed indictments nationwide. Now, they're not all in Washington, but most of it is corruption in the courts, corruption in the political system around our country, and the child trafficking, human trafficking. The house needs to be cleaned, and it's coming. Oh, the other thing that people are a little bit worked up about, illegal aliens voting. Listen, illegal aliens aren't going to vote in 2020. They can give out all the bullshit licenses they want to give out to illegal aliens. They know they have enough evidence to show that it has happened, that illegal aliens have been voting. President Trump was probably going to write an executive order that you have to have a photo ID or you're not voting. We need to make a stand on this now. I think he understands it. Even though it doesn't make any difference for the election, you could have every illegal alien vote in the country. For number one, a lot of them aren't going to vote for the Democrats, and nobody else is going to vote for the Democrats after the swamp drains and their pedophilia is exposed. Now, a lot of you guys know some liberals. Can you think of anyone that when this comes out, that these people are torturing and murdering thousands of children, sexually assaulting, torturing and murdering thousands of children a year, that they would ever vote for these people again? Not going to happen. But we need to get it gone. This crap of illegal aliens. And you got the politicians, the globalists, naturally, promoting this. It's not going to happen, guys. Don't worry about it. 2020 is done. The Democratic Party is finished when this is over. The mainstream media is finished. They can't survive this. Okay, let me make sure I got everything covered I wanted to. Oh, the judge in the Biden paternity suit recused himself. So you know this is a really good sign, because this judge, I think, was on the fix, and probably through military intelligence, they found out some information, and they went to this guy and got him out. Wait till you see, I think, what happens. A lot of good stuff's going to come out of this Biden deal. And then Ukraine is blowing up. It goes all the way, the corruption goes all the way to Obama. Verified fact. And I've said, Obama's going to have 5 or 6 treason charges. Clinton, 4 or 5 at least. It's a target-rich environment for a federal prosecutor right now. The evidence is overwhelming on these people. Okay, let's see what we got for questions. Larry, what's up? Sharon, how are you? Let's see. Cousin Bill? Kathleen? Yep, there's always going to be trolls, but they're not going to last long on our page. Chopped and blocked. You get one chance. I'll have an intelligent conversation with anybody if you want to have an intelligent conversation. But I'm not going to listen to ignorance and stupidity. The best is yet to come. That's right, Cynthia. Yeah, and we're going to get true freedom, guys. A lot of people, most of the people in our country have never really experienced freedom. Um, this has been going on for a very long time. And what they do is, it's like a boa constrictor getting a hold of you. And then that constriction, little by little, they take your air out of you until you got nothing left. And that's what they do, create a problem, pass a law, start over. And then what you end up with is you can't walk down the street anymore without being arrested for something. That's how they set it up. And then they make you think, all these crooked globalists in power, that they're doing us all these favors by creating all these laws. Here's a good example. As bad as things are in California, as many homeless as we have in California, now in California, I think it's the first, if you're just holding a cell phone in your hand while you're driving, you don't have to be talking on it. If you're holding it in your hand, it's a $990 fine. This isn't freedom, guys. This is tyranny. And it's going. We're going to go back to more a libertarian philosophy, where as long as you're not hurting anybody, you do whatever you want. You want to drive and talk on the phone? Fine. But if you get in an accident, you're probably going to be then criminally liable, and for sure civilly liable. You're going to have consequences for your actions. That's how life is. Not wearing a helmet if you want to ride a motorcycle. Hey, it's your life. Everyone should be free to make those choices for themselves. I don't want the government legislating my safety. That's my business. And it goes on and on and on. The overreach, the overstep, and they keep taking and taking and taking. And now we have a penal code that's 10 times the size it was when I was going to college in the 80s, late 70s. It's all over, guys. By the end of President Trump's second term, and that's why I keep telling all these people who are on these obscure missions, the voting and the free speech, and there's nothing that you can show me right now that's happening in our country that's a problem that President Trump isn't going to address before the end of his second term. Anything you or I could do is just going to be wasted time, because before we could get anything accomplished, he's going to have it done. And things are going to start moving a lot quicker after the swamp drains. Now, I'm amazed at how much he's got done with the resistance he's had in these first few years. It's amazing. when you look at the regulations that he's thrown out, it would fill a bedroom in most houses, floor to ceiling. Um, just wait until he gets rid of the swamp and these satanic pedophiles, and wait till that evil is removed from the world, and see the world that we're left with. Just think about when we don't have these people manipulating wars, manipulating terrorist attacks. 9/11, Oklahoma City, all of these school shootings, the nightclub, the school on the East Coast, all caused, all engineered by this globalist agenda as a way to get our guns or turn us against each other, all corruption and manipulation. Just think when that all is gone, what the world is going to be like. I'm telling you, it's man's greatest age. And God wants his people to be in control of this new world. And one of the ways we do it is through physical silver and Litecoin. It's in your guys' hands now. Okay. Well, thank you, Cynthia. I appreciate that. Let's see, am I going the wrong way? Yeah, I am. Yeah. Hillary Hillary criticizing President Trump for his use of force at the Iraqi embassy. Of course she is, because she let 4 Americans die to cover her tracks. That's what that was all about. They were responsible for that attack. They wanted Stevens dead because he knew about what was going on with the arms they were selling. They caused all the destabilization of the Middle East. That's why they did 9/11. They needed a Pearl Harbor type event to get us all riled up so we'd be, beating the drum, the war drum, to go back after these guys. All a farce. Think of all of the heroes that we lost the last 20 years because of these guys, these globalist monsters. Some of the best and brightest murdered so that they could further their globalist agenda, destabilize the Middle East, create the refugee crisis, drive them all into Europe first, then into America. They were almost there. Europe, we've got a lot of people from Europe on the Watchman page, and I feel for those people. The bottom line for them is the sooner they start the civil war, the better it's going to be, because they've got to drive the Muslims out of Europe. You see what they're doing. No-go zones, bring that to America. You're not going to bring it to the West, to Western United States. Bring it to cowboy country and see how long that shit lasts. It's over. Most of these people, when they see what President Trump does, and then what he does to the radical Muslim extremists in our country, they're all going home, either on their own or they're going to be shipped home. Most of the illegals in America will go home on their own because they're going to be such a resentment towards them, they won't want to stick around. Now, I've got nothing against the people from south of the border. I know a lot of through my life. I live in California. I grew up in the wine country. I've got nothing against those people, but you've got to come in the right way, and you're going home one way or another. And if you want to come back, go through the process like your relatives did. But the Muslims, listen, read the Quran. It's not a religion of peace. This is how they do it. For 1,400 years, this is their MO. They come in, they're really cool at first. They get the numbers up. In the beginning, they want to use your laws against you until they get the numbers. Then they start changing the laws. And then they implement Sharia law. I'm going to guarantee you one thing. Sharia law is never going to happen in America. It's incompatible with our Constitution and therefore illegal. I mean, these people, it's legal for them to murder their wife for having an affair, for talking back. It's barbaric. Pedophilia is legal in Islam. Bestiality is legal in Islam. Doesn't sound like a religion of peace to me, because it's not. It's a scam. It's a political movement disguised as a religion, so they can infiltrate countries. There's no place for Islam in America unless it's reformed, unless they want to denounce the violence and change the Quran. It's not happening in America. Yeah, all these pedivores, and that's what they are, guys, because they eat children. They're all going to hang. Danielle, how you doing? Well, they're doing to Australia what they were doing to us. Those are all directed energy weapons attacks in Australia. They're, again, guys, they're pushing that, global warming, everything they can. They're pulling the stops out. I might have time to get into it. Yeah, people, for the most part, aren't thinking that's a problem. But again, we have to remember how this all happened. It's not like these people got a fair shake, and you've got to be responsible for yourself. But, they had a lot going against them. When you look at the propaganda that they've been spewing and the takeover of our schools, it was going to happen. It's a good thing that we caught it in time. Tell them Cheryl's asking about people who want to prove that the Epstein videos exist. They can go on the dark web. Tell them to go on the dark web and search for Frazzle Drip. Frazzle Drip is the name of the video. It's been reported by 25 reliable sources since it came out several years ago. People, listen, personally, I'm not a reporter. That's not my job. My job is to warn people. You take it for what it's worth. It's not my job to do your homework for you. I've done plenty of my own. It's everybody has to do their own homework. I tell people all the time, I don't want you to believe me. Prove me wrong. And that's what you need to tell this person. Prove it wrong. Because it's 100% right. And if you can't see it, the Epstein case, the NXIVM case, there were 15,000 people worldwide involved in the NXIVM sex cult. That's a case that they were just convicted of a few months ago. And look what's coming out. Prince Andrew went to Pedo Island. The Pope went to Pedo Island. Chris Cuomo, Don Lemon, Jake Tapper, all went to Pedo Island. What are these people going to Pedo Island for? Where he's got all these young girls. You know, he got from a friend in France, sent him for his like 50th birthday or something, sent him like 3 12-year-old girls from France. That was his birthday present. So, this is 100% fact. People can believe what they want. If they want it, they need to be doing their own research. If they want proof, go find it. I did. And I don't need to go on the dark web. I know the video exists. If you do your homework, when you have 50 different people with great sources in Washington and New York, and they're all saying the same thing, it exists. And like I said, if you want to, go on the dark web. Eventually, the government's going to put all these videos up for people that want to go and see them. They'll be on a website, so anybody that wants to view them can. I will never watch one. It makes me sick to my stomach thinking about what they've done. I damn sure don't want to see it. And I'm not going to go over it tonight, but when you hear what's on the Hillary Clinton snuff video, it's disgusting that one person could do this to another person. When you, just hearing about this video, if it doesn't enrage you, and trust me, I know, there's something wrong with you. This is an 8-year-old girl on this video. Sexually assaulted and tortured to death. Okay, before my blood pressure blows up. I will also post Coinbase and Bullion Company. And, they're all over now, guys. They're almost on every live chat. There they are right now. Jerry just posted them. JM Bullion, SD Bullion, Coinbase. That's it, guys. Yeah, Ledger Nano S. Just look in the comments. Brother Dale, what's up? Thanks, David. JC. Jimmy Cleveland. Bareback Riding Machine. Linda, thank you. Pence is a pedophile, satanic pedophile. They say he's one of the worst. Justice is coming. No one is going to escape justice. What does God say about people that mess with children? Thrown overboard with a millstone tied around their neck? That's coming. God's judgment is coming. People talk about Armageddon. I believe we've been going through Armageddon, mostly in the spiritual, but that's probably more important than the physical. There's no question in my mind. And when the people find out about everything that's happened from President Trump taking office until the swamp is drained, when they find out the whole backstory and then what's been going on for the last 70 years since the Second World War, no one's going to be able to hide from it. No one's going to be able to deny it. It's going to be a tsunami when this breaks. I know Road to Ruta very well. And Bix is great on cryptocurrencies, but he doesn't know jack shit about geopolitics. He's not taking into account the swamp draining or the satanic pedophilia. You can't analyze the economy today. If you're not taking those things into account, you might as well go back to sleep, because they're the most impactful events in world history, and they're at our doorsteps. So anybody who's analyzing the economy, who's not figuring that in, don't listen to him. And I like Bix. I think he does great work, but he's way off on the economy. We are the lions right now. We are the lions protecting the lambs right now. Well, and listen, guys, Jerry's saying we've been way too easy on illegals. It had nothing to do with being easy on illegals. It had to do with an agenda. Get them all, because it was all for exactly what they're using them for. To drain our system, to basically bankrupt us, and have the votes to do it. Because they knew when they started this crap, when they started running our country into the ground, they were eventually going to lose their base, and they needed somebody to replace them. And that's why they wanted all these illegals in here. It's all part of the plan. Paula, how you doing? I know. I'm going to try and calm down. Hillary does have Kuru disease, and so does Nancy Pelosi. Look it up if you don't know what it is. Sick. Kuru. Kuru. Cannibals get it. Let that sink in. Cannibals get it, and both Hillary and Pelosi have it. Oh, they got to go, and they're going to go. It's going to be awesome. Eric White. What's up, Eric? Cynthia, how you doing? Good. Cynthia found it. It's the most horrific thing you could imagine, what they've been doing. The CIA actually was running, I hope they're not anymore, but they were running human breeding farms. The cute kids, they sold into child sex trafficking, and the homely ones, they sold off for their body parts. Think about that. That's our CIA. JFK was 100% on point when his goal was to crush the CIA. And trust me, it's coming. The CIA is done. There's no room in this world for the CIA. Has to go. Maybe the FBI too. We've got to totally revamp our criminal justice system, because it stopped being about justice a very long time ago. It's corrupt as corrupt gets. Wait till you find out what Mueller and Comey and all of those jackasses at the DOJ and the FBI have been doing for the last 25 years. It'll sicken you, the people, the lives they destroyed, the people they put in jail who didn't belong, and the murders they let these people get away with. Our founders are rolling over in their graves. These are exactly the people our Constitution was written to protect us from. And our Second Amendment, I'll tell you what, I think that owning a firearm is going to be a worldwide right when we're all said and done with this. Because I'll guarantee you, if every person on Earth had a gun, the Earth would be a lot safer place to be. Because we wouldn't have these tyrants running around the things they're responsible for, it's horrific. It's that's going to be one of the hardest things for people to digest. You know, I was thinking early on that, maybe there's a group of 40 or 50 of them. There's thousands, probably tens of thousands that are going down. That's the hard thing. And not only that there's that many of them, but they controlled the world. Everything. Vatican was the religious center for this agenda. London was the financial center. Washington was a muscle. We were the muscle with our military. It's over. They were this close, and they choked. God cut them off with President Trump at the front. President Trump wouldn't be alive today if he didn't have God's hand on him, guiding and protecting him. I keep saying it, but it's true. And I think he knows it too. Yeah, that's all part of the globalist agenda, guys. Um, uh, the Democratic Party. I mean, it's funny how they sell themselves as the light for fighting racism, and they're the ones who who didn't want to end slavery. I mean, it's just go look at the history. But they want to, beat that racist drum. Everybody else is racist. Well, we know it's projection. Everything they accuse President Trump of, they're guilty of. Every single thing. Okay, guys, that's it for the questions for tonight. Not much time, guys. We got to keep pushing. Do the best we can. Let's get as many as we can with as much time as we have left. Don't procrastinate. Get your prepping done. It's easy. Get online. You can get your silver and Litecoin tonight. It's that simple. Take you half an hour to do both. Less than that if you're computer savvy. It's not that difficult, guys. But you don't want to wait because there's already been this member who just bought, I think yesterday. It took her almost a day because they're so overwhelmed at Coinbase that they can't even answer the phones. So you don't want to do this after this blows up because just imagine what's going to happen then. It might take you weeks to get through. And what's the price going to do? It's going to go up daily. The gains are going to be huge. It's going to be like a rocket for both silver and Litecoin. So don't wait. Don't put yourself in a bad position because you waited too long. And don't miss this boat. It's the greatest opportunity in history. It's life-changing for your family. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there for tonight. Remember, fear not. God and President Trump are 1,000% in control. We'll see you tomorrow night at 5. God bless.